After the housewarming party, both of them discuss all those misunderstandings the next morning. They clear them. While they were discussing these things, Gia gets a video call from her mother. As she picks up the phone, her mother on the other end of the video call asks Gia, "How are you, my daughter?" Seeing her parents together, she asks, "Why you both are together? Where are you, and what are you celebrating?" Then Jin comes from behind and seeing him, Gia's mother says, "How are you, my son-in-law? It feels good to see you both together like this." Jin nodded, saying he was okay, and then asked her if she was okay. Ignoring Jin, Gia asks her mother again why they both are together and what is the reason for the video call. Her mom replies, "Your dad and me are on a movie date. The next part of this Spaghetti Man movie series is coming out today, and we're going to watch it before you." Hearing this, Gia becomes quiet and goes into deep thought. Because Spaghetti Man is a cult superhero movie, she again reconfirms with her mom that do they come to watch Spaghetti Man movie. As soon as she gets confirmation from her mother, she immediately disconnects the call. And then she immediately turns to Jin and tells him to get ready, we are leaving. He asks in surprise, "Where are we going?" While getting ready, she explains everything to him that there's kind of tradition in their family where if you don't watch something the day it's released, the person who watches it first spoils it for everyone. That's why they have to go to the theater to watch Spaghetti Man before her mother. She didn't want to take any risks with blockbuster series like Spaghetti Man, where the competition was even more fierce. So in other words, in her family, if you don't see the movie as soon as it's released, you're doomed. While on the other hand, Gia's mother was excited to give her spoilers about the film. After telling all this to Jin, and with dreams in her eyes to watch the Spaghetti Man movie before her mother spoils it, she rushes to the movie hall with Jin as soon as possible. With a large caramel popcorn coated in butter and a cold drink in her hand, she excitedly settles into a seat at the movie theater. As Jin comes and sits next to her, she complains that it sucks that they got seats in the corner, but she'll still manage somehow. Jin doesn't say a word but just stares at her silently. While eating popcorn, she asked him, "What's with that face, Jin? Have you never seen a spaghetti movie before? If you didn't want to come, you should have told me beforehand." He replies, "It's nothing like that." He also liked this movie series. He was just wondering that since they came to watch the movie together, is this their first date? He further says, "I heard you talking to your parents that they are going on a movie date, so I also thought that maybe this is our first date too." She doesn't respond to him, interrupting him. In between, she shouts at the people sitting behind her to calm down. The movie is about to start. After this, both of them calm down, and on the other hand, Gia starts thinking, why did he say so? And amidst all this, the movie begins. They start staring at the screen attentively. While watching the movie, Gia praises it and says that this movie is really incredible. After some time while watching the movie, Gia extends her hand to pick up the popcorn. On the other hand, Jin also extends his hand to pick up the popcorn. In the meantime, the hands of both of them touch each other, and as soon as their hands touch, they look at each other. Handling the situation, both of them remove their hands and Jin starts looking in the other direction. While watching the climax of the movie, she hides her face with her hands and says that she can't bear all this, and then after some time the movie ends. As the movie ends, she starts crying loudly. Wiping her tears, she says, "It was so freaking good. How could they end it like that?" Thinking all this and wiping her tears, she looks at Jin to know how he liked the movie. Because when we go to watch a movie with someone, it is our utmost responsibility to ask him or her how he or she liked the movie. While fulfilling this responsibility, she asks him about the movie. Jin Minchul, who has been following this Spaghetti Man series for the past 20 years, raises his hand and says that after watching it, "I don't regret anything in my life," and starts crying with tears. Gia feels very happy to see his reaction because when we suggest a movie to someone and he enjoys watching that movie, then we also feel proud and happy. After the movie ends, they walk out of the theater. Gia tells Jin what a good movie it was while going down the accelerator. Gia, as usual, is bothered by her short-tempered speech and keeps on saying, "Didn't I tell you that you would be happy to see this?" She further says, "Did you see the scene when Spaghetti Man cried, and seeing him cry, the entire audience in the theater started crying?" Saying all this, Gia suddenly realizes that she came to watch the movie to avoid spoilers, and watching a movie on the weekend and talking about the movie like this really feels like they are on a date. Jin, who is walking ahead of Gia, takes out his phone after looking at it. He says, "Let's see when its next part is coming." On the other hand, Gia keeps thinking that this is really the first time they have come out like this after the honeymoon. Meanwhile, the shoulder of the person walking with Gia collides with her shoulder, and she loses her balance. She slips from the stairs and starts falling down. She screams loudly as she falls. Hearing her voice, Jin turns back and sees Gia coming towards him. All this happens so quickly that no one can do anything. Both of them come face to face with each other. Everyone present there is watching all this. Gia jumps on Jin to save herself from falling. Jin completely stumbles but somehow saves himself and her from falling. During all this commotion, their faces come very close to each other and their lips touch each other's lips, and thus their first kiss takes place. The people present there start staring at both of them and whispering about them. Gia's face turns completely red with shame. Even in this situation, Gia starts thinking that her first kiss with Jin, which happened by chance, tasted slightly like caramel. Seeing both of them in this situation, a child who had come there with his mother says, "Mommy, look! Those two are doing a piggyback ride all backward." His mother hides his eyes with her hand and says, "Don't look at them. They're dirty." Upon hearing this, both of them move away from each other. After all this, Jin gets so nervous that he becomes unable to think of anything due to nervousness, and he keeps holding Gia in his hands and starts panting due to nervousness. Gia softly tells him, "You can put me down," and hearing this, he does the same. After coming down, she stands there like a statue for a few moments and then suddenly runs away from there. After going a little further, she turns back and says, "Whatever happened just now is canceled." Jin stares at her in surprise and she adds, "Don't you know about the 3-second rule?" Jin still remains silent, as if he doesn't know anything, and then she starts to explain in detail that if you cancel something within 3 seconds, it doesn't count. Like you can eat food that's fallen on the floor if you pick it up in 3 seconds. And after saying this, she dashes away from there, while Jin keeps calling her name, but she doesn't listen and runs away. Gia sits in the smoking area, where she was wondering what has happened to her. She had never expected this to happen. More than the kissing incident, Gia is bothered by the fact that the method she have told him to cancel it was very childish, and she was feeling very embarrassed thinking about it. Because in their childhood days, they used to follow the 3-second rule. Thinking about all these things, Gia smokes many cigarettes. She is also worried about how will she face Jin now. Then after a while, Jin comes there, and smelling the cigarette smoke, he asks, "Gia, have you smoked cigarette?" She doesn't respond and continues staring at him like a statue. He understands Gia's reaction and tells her, "Even if you have smoked, it is okay. At least air your clothes out of smoke." She stands like a statue while Jin puts his hands on her shoulders and starts pushing her towards the exit. After a while, Gia turns her face back and asks Jin, "Are you okay with our kiss?" Jin replies with great innocence, "You canceled it in 3 seconds, so it never happened." Gia tries to ask something again, but Jin interrupts her and says, "Would you like to have lunch or just go home?" Gia makes a face and replies, "Do whatever you like," and then they stop at a restaurant on the way to have lunch. Both of them order their favorite food, and after some time the food arrives on their table. Gia is still thinking about all those things. On the other hand, Jin starts eating his food very comfortably. Seeing him, she starts wondering what kind of a person he is. So much has happened between them, and he is still behaving as if nothing has happened. While Jin was eating his food, which was chicken breast with cold water as usual, Gia kept staring at him. Seeing Gia like this, he asked her, "Do you want to say something?" Gia changes the topic and says nothing special. "I was just thinking, you are eating chicken breast here too." After lunch, the two head back to their apartment. Walking down the street, Gia is still thinking about all those things, while Jin, on the other hand, is leisurely walking towards home using his phone. Gia turns around to look at Jin, who is casually working on his phone, and thinks maybe she's the one who's overthinking all of this, because whatever happened between them happened unknowingly. Gia tries to free herself from this dilemma and thinks that she is now 32 years old, and even if their lips touch each other, so what? They are a married couple. When Gia was thinking about all these things and trying to come out of the situation, then suddenly Jin says, "Hey Gia, I can't take this anymore. I have to get this off my chest." Gia looks at him in surprise while Jin continues to speak that it was more than 3 seconds since our lips touched. To be precise, I remember it was 5 seconds. Hearing this, Gia starts sweating and her heart starts beating faster. Jin smiles and says, "Why don't we make this our first kiss? We were already making fake stories about our first kiss in the morning. Wouldn't that be perfect? Jin continues speaking, and Gia keeps smiling listening to him. And then suddenly there's a loud slap sound. The scene now shifts to Jin's apartment, where he is sitting shirtless and the slap mark is on his back, which looks like an old Picasso painting. Seeing this scene, it was clearly visible that Jin had been slapped on the back, and the hands that did the slapping belonged to none other than Gia. Troubled by the situation, Jin questions himself as to what he has done wrong. On the other hand, Gia runs away from the situation and goes to her sister Jimin's house to live with her. Both Jimin and her husband Jinu are surprised to see Gia suddenly at their home like this. Before they could ask her anything, Gia herself smiled and said that she has come to stay with them for a few days. Hearing this, both of them, despite not wanting to, laugh a little at her words to keep her happy. But Gia did not come to their home just like that. Before coming to them, she had asked many questions to herself. Actually, this time she had a very long conversation with herself, or in Sipma word, it can be said that she had a conference with her younger versions. At the beginning of this conference, she tells all his participants, who were her younger versions, why this meeting was called. Present-day Gia tells them the whole story about what happened to her today, how a kiss accidentally happened between her and Jin. And before ending her statement, she says that whatever happened was a mistake and asks them, do they understand her? She makes it clear again in front of everyone that it was unintentional. All the available past Gia agree with the statement of present Gia and give their approval to her. Suddenly Gia remembers something. She says, please note one more thing I want to tell you guys, that after the kiss, Jin made a proposal to me that why don't we make this kiss our first kiss? And after saying this, she starts banging the table loudly in anger. She further says that you people saw what a foolish person he is. Even in such a situation, he was talking nonsense. Present Gia again asks for their consent on this. Do you guys agree that he is a stupid man? This time too, everyone gives their consent by making faces. And then suddenly, 5-year-old Gia, the youngest member of the group, nicknamed the Smooching Ghost, asks current Gia whether a kiss a good thing, and then everyone present there starts answering the youngest Gia's question. After discussing it for some time, the present-day Gia again interrupts everyone and starts speaking with a fake smile about the issue that she wants to spend some time away from Jin. She can't go to her parents as their house is too far away. That's why the only option she has is her sister Jimin's house. So she asks them about it. Before anyone can answer, 15-year-old Gia raises her hand and asks present-day Gia a question. Doesn't present-day Gia have any friends she can stay with for a while? She further said that if she looks carefully, she will definitely find a close friend with whom she can stay, and then she will not have to go to her sister's house. Present-day Gia puts her hand on her forehead and says, I can tell you, but you will not be able to understand current me. There's a lot that's happened. And then teasing 25-year-old Gia, she says, isn't that right? Because according to today's Gia, 25-year-old Gia was the main culprit of her entire situation. And then leaving all these things behind, today's Gia says that if you see Jimin and her husband are indebted to me because I was the one who introduced them to each other in the first place. I was the one who sent them on a blind date. When I was working in a company, I even gave them money so they could go on some nice dates. And I was the only person who convinced them to get married. If they think about how much they owe me for this, they can't say no. And thus, after convincing all the versions of herself and taking their consent, she comes to her sister's house. Thanks for watching and comment the best part of this video. After talking to her younger versions and taking their consent, Gia decided to go to her sister's house. As soon as Gia reaches her sister's home, she finds her brother-in-law Jinu standing at the gate with the children. Gia gives the present to her brother-in-law, which she has brought for them, and asks, How are you, brother-in-law? Jinu smilingly replies that there was no need for all this. Before he could say anything more, his wife Jimin interrupts him and asks Gia, How are you, sister? Before Gia could reply anything, she further said, What are you doing here on the weekend? And that too with such a wonderful gift. Gia replies that she is fine and says about the gift that it is not a big thing. It is just a small gift for the kids. While talking like this, Gia slowly enters their house, and as soon as she reaches her sister, Jimin asks her softly, What brings you here on the weekend without any prior notice? Didn't mom and dad teach you any manners? Gia slowly turns her face away and says to herself, Maybe you are forgetting, my younger sister. We have the same parents. I have received the same values as you. On the other hand, children are badly troubling their father. One is punching him in the stomach. Other one is pulling his hair. Seeing all this, Jimin tells them not to trouble him so much. Gia, who has been noticing all this, asks her sister, Hey, I know they're my nephew and niece, but they sure are energetic. I mean, Genu is so calm. I wonder where he gets it from. Jimin replies that it's because they resemble me. If you look back to when we were kids, I'm sure your future kids will be even more troublemakers, and just thinking about it sends shivers down my spine. Then she further says, tell me, my mother's elder daughter, what else is going on in your life? Gia, on hearing this, replies, keep quiet. You cannot call me by my name. Why are you teasing me, my mother's little daughter? Jimin says, let's forget it. Whatever the reason is for you coming here, I want to tell you something, dear sister. Gia looks at her in surprise as to what she wants to share, and then Jimin starts saying that, the next part of Spaghetti Man is out now in theater. Gia understands from hearing this that she wants to give him spoilers about the movie, so she interrupts her in between and says, don't worry, I have already seen that movie. I knew this would be the first thing you would say to me as soon as you met me. As soon as Jimin hears Gia's reply, all her intentions are shattered. She becomes sad and frustrated. Then she says, how is this possible? It has just been released today. How could you watch it? You don't even have a job. You have ruined my mood. Hearing this, Gia replies to her, hey, I just saw it today. That has nothing to do with being jobless. After hearing Gia's answer, Jimin gets silent for a while, and then suddenly she remembers Jin and asks her about him, what has happened between you two. Gia spits out the tea as she hears Jin's name. After this, Gia tries to divert the topic by saying that everything is fine between them. With the other hand, she keeps cleaning the tea lying on the table. From Gia's words, Jimin understands that she is definitely hiding something from her, and she also reminds her that hiding things is her very old habit. Sipping tea, Jimin tells Gia that she knows after fighting with Jin, she left his house and came straight to their house. She didn't even tell her parents anything. She came straight here to spend some time so that the matter cools down. Gia gets a little worried after hearing her words and starts thinking that she turned out to be very intelligent. Jimin then asks her why she came to their house. Gia makes an innocent face and replies that it is not what you are thinking. I just wanted to meet the children and you. That is why I came to stay at your place for a few days. Hearing the words of the elder sister, the younger sister gets emotional and says, I did not know that you love my children so much. After listening to Jimin's words, Gia starts thinking that she has fooled her this time, but this is not the case in reality. The very next moment, Jimin and her husband leave for a walk, leaving both the children in Gia's hands. Before leaving the house, both of them say goodbye to Gia, while Gia, on the other hand, assures them not to worry about anything, and she will take good care of the kids. Jinu gets a little worried, thinking whether Gia will be able to take care of the kids or not. Then Jimin consoles him, saying, don't worry at all, my sister can take good care of these kids, so let's go and spend some good time outside. Now slowly, Gia understands her younger sister's trick. Why did she suddenly agree to keep her at home? Then she consoles herself by saying that whatever may be the case, now she has got a house to live in, and perhaps this will be the atonement for her sins. The very next moment, the kids start teasing her. The kid sitting on Gia's back starts chewing her hair. She lovingly removes her hair from the baby's mouth. In this way, Gia spends a lot of time taking care of the children. After 2 hours, both the children are sitting on Gia's back, and they have painted their and Gia's face with colors. Gia lies quietly on the ground like a corpse. At this time, she understands the importance of parents, that how much sacrifice they make for their children. Tired, Gia turns to the children and requests them if they can watch TV now, because Auntie is very tired. But children are children. They do not listen to her and start saying that, Auntie, please show us how a horse speaks. As Gia had promised her sister that she will take complete care of her children, and following this, she starts walking as a horse. After this, the kids give another order to Gia that Mummy has told us that horses make a neighing sound. Auntie, you also make the same sound. Before she could make the horse sound, suddenly the doorbell rings and Gia thinks she is saved, else these kids would have driven her crazy. When she starts going to open the door, the children cling to her feet. They hold her feet, stop her from going, and start saying, show us the sound of a horse. While trying to free her feet from the children, she says, leave Auntie's feet, kids. The delivery person has come to the gate. She has to see what gift he has brought for them. She somehow reaches the gate, wondering which delivery man must have come at this time. She opens the gate and sees Jin standing at the door with a gift in his hand. As quickly as Gia opens the door, she closes it just as quickly when she finds Minchul standing outside the house. Gia, standing behind the door, starts wondering why Jin has come there, and her heart starts beating fast. On the other hand, Jin keeps knocking on the door continuously. Standing near the door, Gia keeps wondering nervously that how did Jin know that she have come here, and has he put a tracker on her? Gia, who is worried about the situation and drenched in sweat, is thinking all this when Jimin's elder daughter Yoonji comes to her and asks her, "Auntie, who has come outside?" She replies to him that he is a strange person who is looking for an address. He is a dirty person. And then suddenly Yoonji pulls out her phone and shows it to Gia and asks if it's the same person. Gia was shocked to see the photo because the photo Yoonji showed her was of Jin. Yoonji smiles showing the phone and says, "Mommy told us that this man will come to our house and there is no need to be scared of him because he is our uncle and he is bringing good gifts for us." Hearing these words, Gia understands what kind of game her sister has played with her. On her nephew's request, Gia lets Jin enter her sister's house and gives the ice cream that Jin had brought to the children to eat. After this, both of them sit opposite each other so that they can resolve the misunderstanding that occurred between them after the movie theater kissing incident. Both of them sit silent for a long time. On the other hand, the children are eating ice cream with great gusto. Gia tries her best to ignore Jin, so much so that she doesn't even like to look at him. But eventually Gia breaks the silence between them by demanding an answer from Jin about how he knew she was at her sister's house. Jin replies very quickly that your sister Jimin herself called me and told me that you have come to her place and asked me to pick you up from here. Hearing this, Gia shouts Jimin's name loudly and abuses her 3 or 4 times. Seeing Gia's reaction, Jin explains to her that you should not blame Jimin for this. She did the right thing. My sister and I used to do the same in our childhood. When our parents had a fight, we both would leave them alone for some time so that they could sort out the matter. But Jin's words have no effect on Gia's anger. After remaining silent for some time, she suddenly said, "How can you be so stupid that you came here just on her request? Don't you understand? I did not want to be around you. That is why I left your house and came here." Jin replies immediately because it is written in the 5th clause of our contract form that if there is any issue, then sit and solve it through communication instead of running away from the situation. After saying this, he asked Gia that if you felt bad about something I said, then tell me. Hearing this, Gia becomes even more angry. Jin asked her again, "Why are you mad at me?" As soon as Jin says this, the entire incident of their accidental kiss comes back in front of Gia's eyes, which she wanted to forget, but Jin's words that the kiss lasted for more than 3 seconds, and therefore she should consider this kiss as their first official kiss were coming to her mind again and again, and making her more angry. Jin's emotionless reaction was also bothering her, because the kiss might have been accidental, but it has somehow created some feelings in Gia's heart. Gia was feeling angry and hating seeing Jin's emotionless face. She was cursing herself for expecting something from him and having feelings for a person who is an emotionless fool. Then Yoonji comes to Gia saying, Auntie. As soon as Gia turns towards her to listen her, Yoonji stuffs a spoonful of ice cream into Gia's mouth. After feeding ice cream to Gia, Yoonji laughs, showing her broken teeth. Then she softly says that Mummy had said that, when you're annoyed, then sweet things are best. You're not annoyed anymore, right, Auntie? This time Gia's heart melts. After this, Yoonji takes the ice cream and walks towards Jin, asking him, Uncle, do you also want to eat ice cream? Jin raises his hand and refuses her, saying that he does not like this mint chocolate ice cream at all. On the other hand, Jimin's little son crawls towards Gia. She picks him up in her lap and starts feeding him ice cream. And while doing all this, Gia's anger also slowly starts to calm down. While feeding ice cream to the child, she starts thinking that she has grown up now, and she should also behave like a grown-up. She should not care about all these things, and anyway, they both are married. Even if they kiss, it should not be such a big deal. On the other hand, Yoonji is after Jin to feed him ice cream, while Jin is trying his best to save himself. By now it becomes night, and slowly, Gia's anger towards Jin also begins to subside. Meanwhile, Gia's sister Jimin and Jinu, who had gone for dinner, also return, and Gia packs her things and gets ready to go back to her home, i.e., Jin's apartment. She thanks her sister and her husband in a sarcastic way because the anger with which she came into their house and wishing it would last longer ended in a matter of hours just because of them. When she bids them goodbye, the kids say, Auntie, please come next time too. Gia smiles and nods her head. On a dark night in a deserted road, Gia and Jin are walking towards their home, with only the sound of the wheels of Gia's luggage bag being heard. Gia brings a lot of clothes and other necessary items with her, thinking that she will spend some time away from Jin at her sister's place, but that doesn't happen. While walking on the road, she is thinking that if she had known that something like this could happen, then she would have spent time alone in her room at home. She wouldn't have made the situation more awkward by leaving the Jin's apartment in anger like that. Then suddenly, while walking, Jia hears a voice saying sorry. She immediately stops upon hearing sorry and sees Jin standing there looking slightly embarrassed. Jin, after a slight silence, says that he should have said sorry some time ago, then maybe things wouldn't have gotten so bad between them. He further says that whatever happened between us in the movie theater, and after that, I said that we should make this our official first kiss. I was stupid. I had no idea what I was saying. I should have said sorry to you for this earlier. Jia listens to him quietly, and when Jin finishes speaking, he says sorry again. After listening to the whole thing, Jia says to him, "Do you really think that I am angry at you for such petty things?" On the other hand, she herself knew that she was angry at Jin for all these things. But she says this to make herself look better than him. She fakes anger and tells Jin, "You're just apologizing because you think that's what I want to hear, right?" She further added, "Even when we were young, you would apologize whenever something bad happened. I guess you still haven't given up your habit." While Jin tries to explain himself by saying, "I mean it because I'm really sorry." After this, Jia says, "Whatever it is, you have made a mistake, so you must be punished." Hearing this, Jin's face turns pale. Jia reminds Jin that a good flick on the forehead is needed in a situation like this. Blowing into her hands, Jia tells him to come here and get ready to get a flick on the forehead. Jin holds his forehead and asks Jia, "Are you really going to do this? Do you know how much your flick hurts?" Hearing this, Jia clenches her fist and says, "Well, if you don't want to take a flick, then how about a punch?" Hearing this, Jin silently moves his forehead towards Jia. Seeing Jin like this, she says, "Before I hit you on the forehead, I want to tell you why I was angry at you." She tells him that they spent hours discussing or making up stories about how they should tell people how their first kiss happened. And then there was the kissing incident happened between them in the movie theater, which she doesn't like at all and doesn't even want this kind of kiss to be remembered as their first kiss. She further says that she wants to change this memory of hers. She then lovingly holds Jin's face in her hands, pulls him towards her, and kisses his forehead with her juicy lips. After this, the whole atmosphere becomes loving and sweet. Jin is unable to understand this act at all. He is stunned and just keeps looking at her in surprise. Jia, on the other hand, confidently points at Jin and says, "From now on, this is our first kiss, Jin Minchel." The next morning, like an honest friend, Jin shares everything with his childhood and office best friend Sam. After listening to everything, Sam says that the story you told us on the night of the housewarming party about your first kiss was a lie. Last night you had your first kiss with your wife, and that too while returning from your in-laws' house. Jin nodded yes. Sam added that, "But now everyone on the team thinks your first kiss was in kindergarten when you were both 5. You're worried about how to tell everyone about it, aren't you?" Jin again nods his head, accepting all these things. After this, Sam, who is a very calm person, suddenly shouts at Jin. He angrily yells at Jin, "Is this really something to worry about? I'm so tired after that night at your house, and you're coming to me for advice on something like that?" As soon as Sam says this, Jin immediately asks him, "Did anything happen that night, but when you all left our house, you all were very happy? Did anything happen after you left from there?" Hearing Jin's question, Sam's face turns pale. Sweat starts dripping from his face, and he replies to Jin with a fake smile that there is nothing to worry about. Nothing happened that night. While they're talking, Maria comes by to get some snacks from the vending machine. Both of them become absolutely silent after seeing her. She smiles at them while Sam turns his face away. Just as Jin raises his hand and is about to say hello to her, she immediately blushes and runs away. Jin is shocked to see all this, while Sam turns his face away from all this. Jin politely asks Sam if he did something wrong. Sam requests him to keep quiet for some time. Jin was surprised to see Sam's behavior like this. He could not understand why he was acting like that. As we all know that Sam is a very talkative boy who entertains everyone in the office. But is he really like that? Because his changed behavior shows something else. We have to go back a few years to know what Sam is really like, or if he was just pretending to be talkative in his office to hide some of his secrets. In his early days, Sam was a very shy and introverted boy who loved to stay at home. He was the 4th child of his parents. He had 3 elder sisters. Since he had 3 elder sisters, as he grew up, he gradually came to know from them what they expected from boys or how they wanted the guys to behave with them. So he gradually became a kind of expert in matters of girls. That's why he used to help his friends in dating and finding girlfriends since his school days. Sam's school friends often sought his advice on matters related to girls, and his advice always proved to be effective. During his school days itself, he became the god of dating by matching almost 20 couples. While he himself hasn't found a proper girlfriend yet, he was absolutely useless when it comes to dating. So for someone like Sam to suddenly get in physical relationship with his office boss, it was completely out of the box. When he realizes that he has crossed his limit with alcohol, he doesn't know how to react. He gets up in panic, sits up, drenched in sweat, and starts thinking about various bad things. The frightened Sam is further frightened when Maria slowly wakes up, looks at him, and says sweetly, "Sorry." Sam doesn't know how to react in such a situation, so he sits quietly. He was more stressed for this act because he knew Maria not only from his office time, but also from his college days. When Sam was in the first year of college, Maria was his super senior in his college. During this time, Maria ragged him several times and did the kind of things that seniors often do with their juniors during college days. For some of these reasons, Sam is disappointed after becoming intimate with Maria. He also tried many times to make things right with Maria, like just this morning. As soon as Sam presses the lift button, he sees Maria in front of him in the lift. Both of them get nervous on seeing each other, and the same thing that happened between them starts playing in their mind again. The lift starts moving upwards. Both of them stand with their backs towards each other. No one says anything to anyone. The lift keeps moving upwards silently. Suddenly, the scene in which Maria says sorry to him comes in Sam's mind, and he starts thinking about it again. Even after thinking for a long time, nothing comes to his mind. He cannot understand what is happening between them. Then it occurs to Sam that perhaps he has not fully matured, and he also realizes that maybe Maria too hasn't yet matured enough when it comes to relationship things. After thinking about all this for a long time, Sam gathers courage to talk to Maria, and after banging his hand on the elevator wall loudly, he turns back to talk. Maria also turns towards him because of the sound inside the lift. Both of them start looking at each other. Their eyes meet. They start blushing, but are unable to say anything to anyone. Both of them stand silently in front of each other for a long time. Their hearts start beating fast. Suddenly, Maria asks Sam like a child, "What happened? Is there any problem?" As if nothing had happened between them. Sam gets very angry with her reaction. He does not understand why she is behaving like this. As he opens his mouth to ask Maria something, the lift bell rings and a courier guy enters the lift. After this, both of them stand silently in the lift, frustrated and disappointed, turning their faces away from each other. Both of them sit quietly in their respective office cabins. Sam is getting completely frustrated thinking about himself and Maria, and then Jin comes to him and to tell him the story of his and Jia's first kiss. Jin starts telling him his story and problems without listening to him or understanding anything, which makes Sam extremely frustrated. After listening to everything Jin said and not telling anyone about the turmoil going on in his life, Sam leaves for home after finishing his office at night. While walking on the way, he keeps thinking that when someone else is facing a problem in life, he solves their problems by becoming a savior. But now that his life is in turmoil, no solution is coming to his mind. Suddenly, Sam takes out his phone and thinks that he should talk to his second sister, Yeonju. She will definitely have some solution to his problems. At first, he is a little hesitant to call her, wondering what she will think of him. But then he somehow convinces himself and eventually gathers the courage to call her. The phone starts to ring and Sam's heart starts to beat faster. After a ring or two, Yeonju picks up the phone. Sam's sister Yeonju is 32 years old and is a social media influencer and also a popular romance novelist. Her most famous novel is When Farewell Pass. As soon as she picks up the phone, Yeonju says, "It's our good fortune that our younger brother called us." On the other hand, Sam tells the whole story to his sister, but using his friend's name instead of his own. He says that I have a friend who is going through problems in his life. After hearing the whole story, she says, "So the friend you were giving advice to was interested in a girl, but that friend of yours went too far with her one night, and now things are awkward between the two of them?" Sam tells his sister that whatever she has understood till now is absolutely correct, and after this he asks for advice from her on what his friend should do next, as she was an expert in all these matters. After listening to Sam, Yeonju asks him that if I do this for you, what favor will I get in return? Sam replies that, "Don't worry, do you think that I am taking advice from you for free? I will send you 2 boxes of macarons which you like very much." Yeonju knew her brother very well, so she asked, My dear brother, is your friend's name Sam? Sam is stunned to hear this and immediately hangs up the phone. Seeing all this, Yeonju smiles and says to herself, our younger brother ran away again. On the other hand, Sam is panting in nervousness and is thinking to himself that how does his sister know everything about him every time? And when he is left with no solution, he gets disappointed and says to himself that a person must have at least one guru with whom he can share all his things and who can give him the right advice. Sam came to a restaurant to buy macarons for his sister, but when he gets caught and their deal is broken, he ends up going home without buying anything. While coming out, his eyes suddenly fall on Gia near his car, who had also come there to buy some food. Both of them look at each other and smile slightly and say hi. Breaking the silence between them, Gia says, you are probably heading home from office. Sam tells Gia that his sister loves the macarons here, so he came to buy them. Gia smiles and replies, yes, I have also heard a lot about them, that the macarons here are very famous. I also came to try them. Gia further says that she should leave now. It is too late. Sam smilingly says bye to her. She also says bye in return, then turns and starts walking. Seeing her, Sam suddenly starts to feel something strange. He feels as if he knows her from before. He finds her a little familiar, as he knew her before the housewarming party at Jin's apartment. After putting some pressure on his brain, Sam suddenly starts remembering everything. And then Sam asks Gia, are you by chance burning chicken feet? On hearing this, the parcel that Gia is holding drops from her hand and falls on the ground. She turns back and asks Sam, who is he talking about? Tension and fear are clearly visible on Gia's face. Sam confidently replies, don't you remember me? I am Yeonju's younger brother. We have met many times before. You have come to our house many times. Gia hides her face in her hair and says, I can't remember anything. What are you talking about? Maybe there is someone else you're looking for? After listening to Gia, Sam says, come on, don't do this. Please don't act like you don't know me. You are making me sad now. I know that you're the burning chicken feet. In response to this, Gia says that you have got the wrong person. If you want to eat chicken feet, then go to a restaurant. Why are you bothering me? After this, Sam starts reminding her that your first book was, Is It Hot Because It's Summer? After this, you wrote another book whose name was, Why Can't I Become a Secretary? All of these books may not be so popular anymore, but those who read fiction romance novels will still remember these, and these were classics of their time. He then goes on to say that you had a pen name, Burning Chicken Feet, and you even gave me an autograph with this name once. Hearing all this from Sam, Gia gets angry and shouts that, yes, I am that Burning Chicken Feet. After this, all the old memories get refreshed in Gia's mind, which she was pretending to hide in some way. How she used to go to college in her 20s, where her aptitude did not match with the college guys. She was tired of seeing girls gossiping about their friends' relationships in those days. She found her college days quite boring, so she used to read most of the time novels, which she slowly started finding boring as well, as no one was writing anything interesting. In those days, she used to stay at her college best friend Sam's sister Yeonju's place and read novels all day long to find something new and interesting. The two first met in a liberal arts class, and since then, an understanding has developed between Gia and Yeonju, as she is a very calm and sensible girl. Gia often spent 1 to 2 days a week at Yeonju's place and would often ask her for novels to read because she was bored of reading the same novels again and again. Yeonju was also fond of reading many novels, and since then, by reading novels, she gets into the habit of writing novels also. One day when Yeonju is writing something on her laptop, Gia comes there and insists on reading the article written by her. Gia gets very emotional after reading it because she finds the Nobel very interesting, new and realistic. Gia gets so much emotional after reading it that she starts crying loudly and requests Yeonju to publish it. Gia praises the Nobel written by her and says that if consciousness and knowledge exist somewhere in this world, then this Nobel written by you will be recognized and it will definitely be famous. And she also gives a rating of 9.2 out of 10. Yeonju was not that impressed by Gia's words and was still unsure about whether to publish it or not. Understanding her confusion, Gia requests her if she can publish it. Yeonju, who was full of confusion and did not have a bit of faith in herself, tells Gia to do as she pleases with this novel. And within 3 months, the novel becomes so famous that Gia also gets fame. With paparazzi, media, and lots of questions all around, Gia becomes quite famous, and after a few months, Yeonju also publishes her works under her own name and becomes a famous writer. And in the same year, the first book published by Gia got the most famous Nobel Prize of the year. The organization organizing the awards also publishes Gia's pen name, Burning Chicken Feet, in their awards booklet, which she gave just like that because before publishing that book, she had eaten chicken feet soup. When Gia becomes famous and gets the Book of the Year award, she realizes that she should have thought a little before giving her a pen name, and if she had not thought about it, then the award-giving organization should have contacted her once. In this way, Gia's all old memories are refreshed again, and after this, she stays to have dinner with Sam. And thus, she accepts everything in front of Sam, reliving her old memories, and sits down to have dinner with him. Sam teases Gia and asks her, "How are you burning chicken feet?" She requests Sam to please call me by my real name, which you know very well, which is now Gia Minchell. Hearing this, Sam smiles and asks Gia, "I forgot to ask, how did you two meet each other? You both are completely opposite to each other." In response to this, Gia says that I am still confused. I myself cannot understand how we met each other and how we got married. After this, Sam again tries to ask her how they met, but Gia interrupts him and says, "Leave our things and tell me about yourself. As you told that you slept with a girl and spent the night with her on whom you had a crush." Hearing this from Gia, Sam hesitates and says, "No, it is not about me. It is about my friend. This incident happened to him." Gia then says, "Let's assume this happened with your friend whose name was Sam. If you want to keep on talking about all this, then we can debate on this topic for a long time." She then goes on to say that, "I know this is bothering you, but don't you think it's wrong? It would be better if you tell me the truth, Mr. Sam." Then Sam blushes a little and says, "No, there is nothing like that. I just wanted to take advice from you." After this, she says, "Sam, you know I also have a problem. Would you like to know what it is?" Out of curiosity, he nods his head to know about her problem. Gia told him that there is an old saying that if you have patience, then you can face a problem 3 times. "I have already faced it 3 times and now I am angry. So how do I vent out my anger now?" Sam doesn't understand anything. He keeps looking at her in surprise. Then Gia further says that if you want to make the situation worse with your crush without giving any answer, then you can easily leave without consulting me. After this, he says that I had told you earlier also that this is not about me, but about my friend. After this, Gia, showing some anger, tells him, "Sam, seriously, if you want someone to listen to, then you have to tell them the truth. Otherwise, if you keep beating around the bush, then it will become very upsetting for that person as well." Hearing this, Sam fakes a smile so that she doesn't suspect him. Gia understands from his expressions that he is the real culprit and advises him that if that person doesn't even have the slightest bit of interest, then there's no need for you to think about it too deeply. After getting this advice from Gia, their dinner meeting ends. Sam leaves the restaurant, and while walking, he thinks, what kind of people are these writers? They don't have any emotion in their hearts, like Gia and her elder sister Yeonju, who don't think before speaking about how the other person will feel. But whatever it was, no matter how rude her behavior was, at least I understood what she said and what I should do next. Maria, who was lying on her bed in her home and was comfortably watching videos, suddenly her phone rings. Maria's attention goes to the phone, and as soon as she sees that Sam is calling her so late in the night, she gets up in a panic, and whatever setup she had set up to watch the video falls down. She gathers courage and picks up the phone. As soon as she picks up the phone, Sam says from the other side, "Hello, Maria. Is this the right time to talk to you?" On hearing this, Maria, who was lying on her bed, gets up and sits. She gasps and asks Sam what happened. Sam replies, "Nothing special. I just wanted to hear your voice, Miss Manager." Hearing this, Maria from the other side says, "Have you gone mad or are you drunk?" Sam continues, "Actually, this is something I would like to say when I'm drunk, but it would be rude of me to say it when I'm drunk." Hearing Sam's words, Maria asks him, "What are you talking about?" Sam, who was lost in his own world, further asked Maria, "Can I come to see you right now?" Maria's heart starts beating fast after this. She asks Sam, "What happened that you want to meet me so late at night? If there is no urgent work, we will meet tomorrow." "How will you come to my house so late at night?" After this, Sam says, "You don't worry about it because I am already in front of your house, and I need maximum 20 minutes to tell you what I want to say. So please come out because what I am going to tell you will not be appropriate to do over the phone." Sam requests Maria to please meet him once, and he will not take much of her time. Hearing such words from Sam, Maria becomes even more worried. While there were many reasons for Maria not meeting Sam, the first and foremost was that she had taken off her makeup. The second reason is that she was in her night suit. The third was the scattered items in her apartment. But when Sam starts making too many requests, Maria gives in to him and says, "Okay, but it will take me 30 minutes to come down. Can you wait that long?" Hearing this, Sam flirtatiously comments that, "No matter how long it takes you, I will always wait for you." After this, Maria's reply comes that, "Okay, then wait. I am coming down to meet you in a while." And then she disconnects the phone, and after the phone is disconnected, Sam starts waiting for her outside. Sam was waiting outside in the cold, wondering how he would start the conversation when Maria came to him, and then suddenly he remembered a very old saying, "If you come at 4 p.m., I will be happy from 3 p.m." And amidst all this, after a long wait, Maria arrives to meet Sam, all dressed up in makeup. She reaches there and calls Sam, who turns towards her and keeps looking at her. She then coyly asks him, "Did I make you wait too long?" Lost in his own thoughts, Sam tells himself that when your love is in front of you, you don't understand what to say. Your heart starts beating loudly. Maria asks him again, "Why did you call me to meet you at this time?" Sam replies, "Before I tell you anything, can we go somewhere where we can sit comfortably and talk?" Maria gives her consent to him, and after that, both of them walk for some time and reach a park. Both sit on the swings in the park and start their conversation. Maria tells him that if there was something important, then we could have sat and talked in a cafe tomorrow. Hearing this, Sam says it's okay. This place is also good. After this, both of them become silent and start looking here and there. A cool breeze is blowing, and both are waiting for each other to break the silence between them. Maria shows some courage and asks Sam, "So what was the reason why you called me here?" Sam tries to tell the truth about why he has come there, but he is unable to do so and hesitates to speak. Then to change the topic, he gives the bag of macarons he had brought with him. While handing over the bag, he says, "Oh, I had completely forgotten this. Do you know from which famous place I have brought it?" There was a very long queue to get it. Maria gets happy after getting the gift and says, "Then these must be delicious. I will enjoy eating them later." Then she smiles and thanks him. Sam also smiles and tells her that there is nothing to thank for. After this, both of them start laughing. After some time, when both of them stop laughing, Sam curses himself and says that this is not the reason he has come here. He will have to show courage to tell his feelings to Maria. After remaining silent for some time, Maria asks Sam, "Was this the reason you called me here?" Sam doesn't say anything. He keeps looking at Maria quietly. She asks him, "If you have said what you wanted to say, can I go now? Because it is very late. I will go and eat macarons comfortably." Thanking Sam again, she says, "You are the only one who takes so much care of me." She then gets up from the swing and says goodbye to Sam and asks him to meet her in the office the next day. As she turns to leave, Sam holds her coat and tells her, "Wait a minute, I want to tell you something." This time it seems like Sam will tell her his feelings, but as soon as she turns and looks at him, he again forgets everything, and laughing like a kid, he says it would be foolish if we come to the park and don't play any game. Hearing this, Maria sits on the swing again, and he starts swinging her. As soon as the swing starts moving back and forth, he asks Maria, "Are you having fun, Manager Maria?" Her expressions make it look like she is not enjoying it at all, but to keep Sam happy, she still says that she is enjoying it. Meanwhile, Sam remembers his love consultant Gia's words that if a person is not even slightly interested in you, then you do not need to pay any attention to him. Sam gets a little serious after remembering Gia's words. He stops the swing and says to Maria, "Manager, should we forget what happened to us that night?" Maria already knew that Sam would definitely say something like this to her. She gets a little angry and asks him, "What should we do if we don't pretend like this?" Sam, who is showing some courage this time, holds the rope of the swing and turns Maria towards himself and tells her while showing some aggression that I don't know what is right and what is wrong. I don't know how to act in this situation. All I know is that I can't behave like this with you anymore. He further says that even if I want to, I am not able to forget what happened between us that night. Hearing this, Maria becomes silent. Her face turns red with embarrassment, and she starts staring at Sam. As Maria tries to say something, Sam interrupts her and says, "I know this is all ridiculous, but do you have any idea how hard it was for me to forget that day?" Because before coming to her, Sam had tried a lot of things like taking cold baths and eating spicy spaghetti, which he had read somewhere helps one forget things. After doing so many things and trying so many times, He could not forget anything. On the other hand, Maria felt that all this was a normal thing for him. After saying all this, Sam again starts speaking that now he knows why he was not able to forget all these things. Maria keeps looking at Sam in surprise while he further says that maybe because it was my first experience with any girl, it was special for me, and I am not able to forget it. Hearing this, Maria angrily shouts at him and says that you are lying. This cannot be possible. This is your first time. You will have a lot of experience in all of these because whenever there is a relationship-related matter in the office, everyone takes advice from you only. Scratching his head, Sam says that knowing about things and experiencing them are two completely different things. After saying this, Sam sits on his knees in front of Maria and lovingly tells her that if you really want me to forget everything that happened between us that day, then you will have to teach me to forget. He tells Maria that now she can understand why he wanted to meet her. After this, Maria slowly starts to understand why Sam was behaving like this with her, and then she suddenly says that she also doesn't know how such things can be forgotten. Listening to Maria's words, Sam becomes completely blank, and many questions are visible on his face. Maria understands his questions by looking at his expressions and explains it further to him that for all these reasons, she was pretending to forget all these things because she doesn't know how to forget things. Maria shows courage and further says that I want that. I should not forget that night for myself, and I hope that you also should not forget that night. After saying this, Maria becomes silent. On the other hand, after listening to all her words, Sam is left astonished because Maria also had the same feeling for him as he had for her. The scene now turns to Jin's apartment, where Gia was about to eat macarons. Jin was also sitting there and noticed her. As soon as Gia opens her mouth and takes the first bite of the macarons, Jin comments on her, Gia, have you gained weight? Jin's comment shows that he has no experience at all in talking to girls because no normal boy would make fun of a girl like this. For a moment, looking at Gia's expressions, it seems that this statement of Jin would be the last statement of his life. Gia immediately gets flustered and asks him, who has gained weight? Who are you talking about, Mr. Mitchell? This time, Jin shows a little wisdom, and taking the name of the cat lying nearby, he says that I was talking about the rat. I think it has become much heavier than last time. After listening to Jin, she starts thinking that maybe due to the wrong pronunciation, she heard Gia instead of rat. Ignoring Jin's comment, she starts telling him that the cat has probably gained weight because the weather has become cold. She further says that there are some animals that become fat during winter. Perhaps the rat is one of these species. Jin agrees with Gia, and then she sarcastically, smilingly tells him that if he wants, he can increase the temperature of the room to keep the rat healthy. After talking like this for some more time, both of them go to their respective rooms to sleep. Next morning, same routine. Jin wakes up in the morning and is getting ready for office, and Gia is standing behind him, smiling silently and peeking at him. As soon as Jin notices her, he asks, do you need anything? Gia smilingly refuses, saying that she doesn't want anything. Jin gets up and moves toward the door to go to the office. Seeing him going, Gia says from behind, be careful on your way. Jin pauses for a moment, looks at his hands, turns back, calls out Gia's name, and showing his hand to her, he says, don't worry, I'll be back in a little while. Gia smiles as she bids him goodbye while wondering what has happened to this scoundrel. After this, Jin leaves for the office while thinking about some things in his mind and talking to himself. As soon as the rat comes near Gia's feet and starts meowing, the thought of the rat immediately comes to her mind that perhaps did Jin notice something? Because she had been giving extra meal to rat for the last few days. Jin had an automatic feeding machine for the rat that delivered food 3 times a day, 30 grams at a time, in a total of 90 grams per day. But Gia had been giving extra food to the rat for her own happiness for the last few days. And even now, on one hand, she is giving extra food to the cat apart from its diet, and on the other hand, all these things are going on in her mind. Gia felt that the amount of food Jin was giving to the cat was not enough for it, so she started giving food to the cat in a playful manner, and she was still sitting in front of the cat with a packet of snacks. Gia extends her hand and tells the cat to extend its right paw. Then she tells the cat to extend its left paw, and the cat does the same. As soon as the rat does so, she playfully grabs its paws and shakes it, picks it up in her lap, and starts caressing it lovingly. Seeing this feat of the cat, Jiho becomes happy and gives a packet of churro to the rat as a gift. As soon as Rat starts eating the churro, Gia wonders whether the rat has really gained weight. She says to herself that maybe I have given it too many snacks, but I also told it to work out. Maybe it did not do that. That is why it has gained weight. Gia picks up the rat to weigh it, and as she does so, she realizes that Jin was not lying. She also finds that Rat has actually gained weight. As she takes Rat to the weighing machine, she realizes that this weight gain does not apply only to the rat, as for the past few days, she's been ordering food for herself from an online app. As soon as she has a glance at the weighing machine, she gets a little scared, and her heart starts beating faster because somewhere she knew that her weight had definitely increased. She gathers courage and starts the machine by tapping it with her toe. As soon as the machine turns on, she becomes happy after seeing it and starts saying to herself that it is not possible for a human being to gain weight so quickly because the weighing machine is broken, and she is talking to herself like this to cheer herself up. But somewhere deep down, she knows that perhaps her weight has increased. So to know whether she has gained weight or not, she wears her old clothes and sees whether they still fit her or not. And to remove this dilemma from her mind, she tries on a lot of old clothes, and she slowly realizes that all these clothes still fit her. After this, Gia becomes happy to know that she has not gained any weight yet. When Jin came home from the office, she was already sipping a green vegetable smoothie. She dramatically asked, "Can you make me another one?" Jin blinked in confusion. "Drinking smoothies that fast isn't a good idea," he said, raising an eyebrow. "Wait, are you trying to teach me about working out now?" Gia nodded confidently. "Exactly. You're a gym freak who loves working out and coaching others. So I figured, I'll just tag along." Suddenly, Jin grabbed her hand with a grin. "That's a great idea." Caught off guard, Gia flinched. Her overconfidence crumbled as she struggled to process what just happened. "Why did he grab my hand like that?" she thought, panicking inside. Jin, still smiling, added, "At your age, working out isn't a choice. It's a must. So when do we start? Today or tomorrow?" Now drenched in cold sweat, Gia wanted nothing more than to escape. "Why is this punk so serious about it?" she wondered. Maybe tomorrow?" Jin tilted his head. "Same gym as me? Or do you want to pick another?" It hit her. In her excitement, she'd forgotten who she was dealing with. Jin Minshall, the man who eats chicken breast even on holidays and squeezes in gym time despite a killer office schedule. The next day at the gym, after just a few sets, Gia was lying flat on the floor, utterly drained. Her soul felt like it had left her body. Jin stood over her, still full of energy. "Come on, we've got legs next." Gia looked up at him with wide, betrayed eyes. "Legs? We're not done?" "5 sets, 10 reps each," Jin announced cheerfully. "I'm done," she cried. "Nope, one more set." "But you said that was the last one." "You heard wrong. One more to go," Jin said, completely unfazed. Gia trembled but forced herself through the lunges. "Count properly next time," she muttered between gasps. After the gym. Back at home, looking at the plate of salad and the infamous chicken breast smoothie Jin had prepared, Gia groaned. How does this man eat such tasteless food every single day? Her phone buzzed. Messages from Jin. "Don't forget to eat your breakfast on time. And walk around a little. Lying in bed will make your body stiff." She laid her head down on the dining table and sighed. "Where did I go wrong this time? This is torture." Then a thought hit her. All this effort, all this pain, it has to be worth something. I must have lost at least a pound. She rushed to weigh herself. Not a single ounce gone. She stared at the scale, completely deflated. That evening, the sky turned orange, streaked with a flaming asteroid hurtling through the sky. Gia and Jin sat together on the beach watching in silence. "Did you see that?" Gia gasped. "That asteroid might hit the Earth. This could be our last night alive." Jin stayed quiet. Gia leaned closer. "So what should we do if this is truly our final night?" Jin suddenly grabbed her hand and looked into her eyes with all the intensity of a K-drama hero. "Of course, we should do something meaningful." Gia's heart skipped a beat. "We should work out our legs," he said with a romantic smile. "What?" Gia screamed, jolting awake from the nightmare. She sat in bed, huffing and drenched in sweat. What a terrible dream, she thought. But then, her muscles ached from yesterday's workout. She moaned and lay back down, clutching her legs. Her alarm rang. Images of Jin's gym orders flashed before her eyes. "Let's go! 5 more reps!" "Salad is your best friend." "No pain, no gain," Gia groaned. "This isn't life. This is a gym cult." The next morning at the gym, Jin grinned as he looked at Gia. "Gia, today we're trying a new exercise," he announced. If you do this for just 3 minutes a day, you'll gradually become super healthy, Gia confidently replies. New exercise? Bring it on. Jin clapped his hands. Plank. Without hesitation, Gia dropped into position, elbows on the mat, body straight as a board. With a smirk, she teased, What? You think you can wreck me in 3 minutes? Jin chuckled, adjusting his glasses. You're not falling for that one, huh? Okay then, let's start easy. 60 seconds. Get in position. Focus on your back and the tips of your feet. The first few seconds flew by, but soon Gia's face twisted with effort. The plank wasn't as innocent as it looked. Her arms trembled, her abs burned, and determination gave way to regret. If I think about all the nonsense I've survived, this should be a cakewalk, she told herself. Plank, the most popular core exercise, the art of standing still while suffering. But reality hit hard. After just under a minute, Gia collapsed onto the mat like a rag doll, gasping. Some exercises are measured in seconds for a reason, she muttered dramatically. People doing this for minutes? They're not normal humans. They're probably cyborgs. She lay there like a corpse, the cause of death, plank and exercise-induced humiliation. Meanwhile, Jin was effortlessly chest-pressing weights that made the barbell bend, nearly 300 pounds. Gia stared in disbelief. How is he lifting that? Is he even human? Just as Jin finished his set, wiping his hands and adjusting his glasses, a beautiful girl in sleek gym wear approached him. Are you a personal trainer? She asked sweetly. Gia narrowed her eyes, watching like a hawk. Jin casually replied, Nope, not a trainer. Oh, but the way you were teaching that girl, she nodded toward Gia, with so much care, you seem like one. She tucked her hair behind her ear, eyes gleaming. I'm new here. Mind helping me with the machines? Maybe show me some exercises. Without thinking, Jin nodded. Sure, I'll help you. From across the gym, Gia's jaw clenched. Help her? Really? So where do you want to start? Jin asked politely. The girl pointed to the lat pull-down machine. Here. Jin sat on the machine demonstrating. Watch my posture. Focus on your stance. Target the muscles you're working. His tone shifted, professional and patient. Right now, think about engaging your back more than your shoulders. Hold it for a second above your collarbones. The girl giggled, impressed. You're so kind. And polite, too. Gia fumed, gripping a dumbbell tighter than necessary, her mind half on her workout, half on them. After finishing, the girl casually placed her hand on Jin's. I saw squats trending online. Can you show me how to do them? Her clothes. Is she allergic to fabric? Gia thought, glaring daggers. And Jin. Can't he tell what kind of girl she is? Oblivious to Gia's growing jealousy, Jin began demonstrating squats. When squatting, your core and posture are key. Keep your chest up, engage your abs, and control your movement. Watching them, Gia grumbled to herself. I thought Jin came here to assess me. But look at him. He started giving someone else free lessons. Her workout forgotten, she stayed locked on to them, jealousy burning brighter than the calories. While doing squats, Jin was effortlessly demonstrating the posture, his voice calm and instructional. When you go down, your thighs should be parallel to the ground. And when you stand up, your back stays straight, never lean forward. The girl followed his movements diligently, trying to mimic his stance. But in the next moment, thud. A faint sound of something hitting the floor caught everyone's attention. Jin turned toward the source of the noise. The new girl was on the ground, sprawled out but smiling sheepishly. I fell, she admitted, laughing at herself. Forgive me. It's my first time doing squats. I lost my balance. She tilted her head slightly, trying to act cute. Will you help me stand up? Jin smiled, offering his hand. It happens to everyone the first time. At a distance, Gia watched, her expression curled into a sarcastic smile. Look at her, acting all innocent. The girl clasped Jin's hand with both of hers, not letting go even after standing. With a playful grin, she asked, You are totally my type. What are you doing after the gym? Want to grab coffee with me? Gia's jaw clenched. Okay, now this is too much. She opened her mouth, ready to call out Jin's name, but stopped herself. What am I doing? She thought bitterly. Who gave me the right to interfere? We're only married on paper. No love, no real relationship. We also have an agreement to stay out of each other's personal lives. I promised and I wouldn't cross that line. She turned away, deciding to pretend she hadn't seen anything. But then, Jin's voice rang out, loud and clear. No, I can't go for coffee with you. Jia's feet froze. Her eyes shifted back toward them, curiosity and confusion swirling inside her. Jin gently freed his hand from the girl's grip. His gaze was steady as he spoke. I can't go for coffee with you because... He turned toward Jia, walking over and placing a firm hand on her shoulder, guiding her to stand beside him. Because I'm married. Jia's eyes widened in shock. What is he doing? In front of everyone. All around them, the gym had fallen silent. People stopped mid-rep, turning their heads to watch the unfolding scene. As they both left the gym, walking down the stairs together, only one thing looped endlessly in Jia's mind. The way Jin introduced her to everyone. Her face burned just thinking about it. As they descended, she muttered to herself, if I fall down these stairs and die right now, can humiliation be listed as cause of death? Moments ago, she was green with jealousy watching that new girl cling to him. But now, she just wanted the ground to swallow her whole. Her mind spiraled even further. What does this idiot call me in front of his office people? Wife? Spouse? Girlfriend? Mrs.? Oh God. As these ridiculous scenarios played in her mind, Jaya absent-mindedly zipped her gym jacket up and down, the nervous energy pouring out through her hands. Then, without warning, she sat down abruptly on the stairs, tugging the zipper all the way up to cover her face. Jin, noticing she wasn't beside him, turned back with concern. Hey, Jia. What happened? Are you okay? Are your legs hurting? If they're hurting, want me to carry you home? Her head snapped up, eyes wide. No, I'm fine, she blurted, her voice high and awkward. Internally, she scolded herself. Enough already, I don't want this much attention, especially not from him. But as she stood up, her eyes couldn't help but drift toward Jin. No wonder he's so popular with the girls. Tall, fit, annoyingly handsome. Unable to hold back, she blurted, Hey, Jin, does this happen to you often? Jin tilted his head, confused. What happens often? Jia hesitated for a moment, then asked, You know, like earlier in the gym, girls asking for help, pretending to be clueless about equipment, just to get close to you. Jin let out a casual chuckle. Ah, yeah, that happens a lot, actually. First, it's help with the squats. Next thing you know, they're asking me out for coffee, burgers, drinks. Jia rolled her eyes, muttering under her breath. Of course, gym flirts everywhere. Jin continued, amused. What I don't get is, they spend all that time working out just to suggest burgers and fried food after. He shrugged. Makes no sense. Jia smirked to herself. Yeah, but if someone offered you a protein shake, you'd probably marry them on the spot. Almost reading her thoughts, Jin added, Now if someone suggested a fruit salad, veggie wrap, maybe a protein shake, I'd consider it, but they never do. And after a few days, they stop showing up to the gym altogether. He sounded genuinely puzzled, like he hadn't cracked the code of his accidental popularity. Jia snorted internally. Yeah, right. You're the problem, Mr. Jin. You send girls running for their lives, you and your insane workouts. She grumbled to herself. People who don't want to work out don't last long around here. And this maniac who treats a broken elevator like a glued opportunity. Her legs trembled as they kept descending the stairs. Oh no, forget feeling relieved. My legs are shaking. This is not the time for mental peace. Her brain screamed in protest. I have to survive this torture again tomorrow. If this keeps up, I'll die. Why did I even ask him to train with me? I'm my own worst enemy. Lost in her internal breakdown, she suddenly noticed Jin smiling to himself. What's so funny? She asked, suspicion in her voice. Something good happen? Jin's expression softened, his smile surprisingly warm. Yeah, got to work out with you today. Jia blinked, momentarily stunned. Jin continued with that same ease. It's nice, you know. Working out's tough, but when you have someone with you, you feel good after. Breaking a sweat together, it's a weird kind of happiness. Jia's heart skipped for half a second. Stop. Not the time for feelings. She grimaced. I can't even bring myself to say I want to quit. I'm so weak at these moments. Defeated, she resorted to light punches against Jin's back, her frustration bubbling over. Jin turned and asks, What now? If you have a problem, use words, not fists. But Jia kept half-heartedly hitting him, her tiny rebellion, her only outlet for her grief, an inability to say no. Jin, completely unfazed, let her vent while they walked on, their bickering echoing softly through the streets. And so, their chaotic routine continued. More workouts, more unspoken feelings, more ridiculous fights. The next morning, Gia struggled to get out of bed. Her muscles ached fiercely from the past 2 days of workouts. Every movement felt like punishment. As she tried to stand, her legs buckled, and she collapsed onto the floor with a groan. Then she remembered what Jin had told her. If the pain gets too much, go for a walk. It helps ease the stiffness. Grimacing, Gia crawled on the floor, tries to pull herself upright. What nonsense, she muttered. So to fix sore muscles, I have to move them more? But despite her doubts, she dragged herself out of the apartment and made her way slowly to the nearby park. She began walking stiffly. Each step was a struggle, but as her muscles warmed up, the pain began to fade. Surprised, she picked up the pace, a light jog. Just as her body began to feel bearable again, she noticed someone approaching on the track, a tall figure in a hoodie. She slowed as she neared. Gia. She froze. The man pulled back his hoodie, revealing his face. Gia stared. She knew that face. It's been a while, he said gently. Are you okay? But Gia didn't reply. She turned abruptly and ran. Gia, wait, he called after her. I'm tired, she shouted without looking back. He chased her, but neither of them made it far. Panting and gasping, they slowed almost at the same time, both unfit for even a short sprint. Gia cursed herself. Damn cigarettes, I really need to work on myself. She looked back. The man, Yongduk, was lying flat on the ground, using an asthma inhaler. Before he could speak, she bowed stiffly. Permission to leave? He gave a half laugh, half sigh. No need to be so formal. If you want to go, then go. Live your life. He held out a business card. Here. It had his name printed on it, and beneath it, a tiny ruler etched along the edge. Isn't it genius? He said with a grin. A built-in ruler helps you measure anything on the spot. Gia blinked. Why? Would you put a ruler on a business card? He grinned wider. What do you mean, why? I designed it on purpose. It's called marketing. Thank you very much. Gia said nothing, just stared at him, unimpressed. What kind of weirdo walks around bragging about rulers on business cards? She tossed the card in her hand like she was about to throw it. Don't litter in the park, he warned playfully. She paused, annoyed, but didn't throw it. Then unexpectedly, his expression sobered. Are you still writing novels? She hesitated, then lied. I still write, but I have assistants now. They do most of the work. He smiled faintly. Just like the old days, when I was your producer and you were the firebrand writer. He looked at her with a tinge of regret. I'm still ashamed of how things ended between us. Gia didn't reply. Her gaze drifted to the trees, to the track, anywhere but him. Suddenly, Yongduk's phone rang. He glanced at the screen, then his eyes widened in panic. Crap, the project meeting. It's today, not tomorrow, he yelped. He jumped to his feet, brushing himself off. I've got to run. But hey, call me sometime, old friend. Gia stood still as he jogged off. She looked down at the card in her hand, then crumpled it. Jogging back home, she muttered under her breath, why the hell would I call him? Later that day at dinner, Gia sat at the dining table, her fork carefully slicing into the grilled chicken breast. She took a bite, chewing with surprising delight, followed by a sip of a thick vegetable smoothie from a wine glass. Across from her, Jin sat in his usual red t-shirt, unchanged, his gaze fixed on her. He hesitated a moment before speaking. You don't have to eat the same stuff I do, you know. The diet food. It's not necessary. Gia smiled. I know, she said softly, but I want to. Makes it easier to hang out with you, doesn't it? She raised the wine glass and downed the rest of the smoothie in one elegant gulp, placing the glass back with a satisfied sigh. Jin blinked at her, silent and visibly stunned. His mouth opened slightly like he wanted to say something, but no words came. He simply watched her as she resumed eating, quietly, gracefully. Later. That night, Gia flopped face down on her bed, her arms sprawled like a defeated starfish. Why do I do this to myself? She groaned into the pillow. Chicken breast and veggie smoothies? A flicker of sadness passed over her face. Her mind drifted to Sam, to Yongdok. Old friends, old emotions. Her stomach gave a hopeful growl. I miss chicken feet and cold beer, she muttered before quickly clapping her hands together and shaking them as if to exorcise the craving. No, I have to resist. She remembered Jin's words. You've got to kill the cravings. Think about your health. A knock on the door. She sat up groggily. Now what? Opening the door, she froze. Jin stood in the hallway, dressed head to toe like Michael Jackson. Her jaw dropped. He extended his hand toward her. Dance with me. Gia squinted in disbelief. You're kidding. Nope. She instinctively tried to shut the door, but Jin gently blocked it with his hand. Wait, just hear me out. Moments later, the two of them sat in silence on the living room sofa, several feet apart. Jin said to her, You looked kind of off at dinner. I thought maybe this would cheer you up. Gia turned toward him, incredulous. By dressing up as Michael Jackson? I saw it in movies, he said earnestly. When someone's sad, the other person does something ridiculous or romantic. They dance, they goof off. It helps. Gia blinked at him. He watches movies? Romantic ones, she thought. Aloud, she asked, Wait, you watch that kind of stuff? Like couples dancing and cheering each other up? Yeah, he said without hesitation. It happens a lot in Bollywood movies. They dance when they're sad, when they fall in love, when they break up. Even when people are chasing them with guns, somehow there's still choreography. Gia gave him a look filled with new curiosity. I'm serious, Jin insisted, suddenly striking a pose. They dance everywhere, so I thought, if it works for them, maybe it'll work for us too. Jin stood, spun once awkwardly on his heel, then extended his hand with a dramatic flourish. You really are something else, Jin. After sharing some warm laughs and childhood memories, Jin smiled and said, I have another way to brighten your mood. Curious, Gia asked, what is it? The next moment, they were seated in a fancy restaurant, with plates of mouth-watering pork set in front of them. A chilled bottle of beer arrived soon after. Gia's eyes lit up as her mouth watered. Holding her bottle high, she grinned. The one who lifts the beer first. Are you enjoying this too? Jin didn't reply. He just stared at her silently. Don't be so rude, Gia teased. We came here to enjoy, remember? It's our cheat day. We'll eat and drink whatever we like. Jin gave her a half smile. Just behave. This is a high-end place. Let's have some class, at least while we're here, she said. Whenever we try to have fun, you start with your boring rules. Suddenly, a song titled Good Day popped up on the karaoke screen. Without hesitation, Gia ran up to the small stage and began singing loudly, pouring her energy into the performance. By the time she finished, she had scored an impressive 98. Jin, meanwhile, looked visibly embarrassed. She called out, Your turn. Come on, sing something. No way, Jin muttered. Despite her pleading, he eventually managed to pull her down and escort her out of the restaurant. Outside, the night was calm, but Gia was still in high spirits. She suddenly tapped his arm and said, Let's play red light, green light. Before Jin could object, she darted ahead, calling out the colors like a child. Jin reluctantly joined her. After the game, Gia looked at him. Her smile slowly softened. You're really trying to cheer me up, aren't you? Jin didn't say anything. He simply looked at her, slightly surprised when she suddenly said, Thank you for all this. His brows rose, he asked, Are you sick or something? Gia was stunned after hearing this. He further says, You're being nice. People usually get sick when they act out of character. Gia replied, I do nice things all the time. You just don't notice. She added with a mock glare, And if you don't like me being thankful, close your ears. I'll say it anyway. Gia looked straight at him. Thank you for making my day, I promise. I'll repay whatever you spent on me. She turned quickly, a faint blush creeping across her cheeks. We should go home. It's late, and I won't answer any of your questions. I'm already dying of embarrassment. Jin opened his mouth to speak, but before he could get a word out, she covered her ears and shouted, La 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 la, I can't hear you. Jin gently grabbed her hand and turned her to face him. He looked into her eyes, serious now. I want to tell you something, he said, and this time, you will hear me. Gia blinked, surprised by his tone. He stepped closer, lightly holding her chin. Suddenly, Gia's mind wandered to a distant memory, her mother, her father, her little sister. She was 10 years old, curled up on the living room sofa. The glow of the television lit up their faces as some old romantic drama played. When the actors on screen kissed, Gia immediately looked away, flustered. She reached over and covered her sister's eyes with both hands. "You! Why do people do that in front of others?" she had asked. But her father, never one to miss a chance to tease, smirked at Gia and then leaned over to kiss her mother. Gia had squealed, turning away her face. "Dad, stop doing that in front of us." Her mother just laughed softly and pulled her into a side hug. "It's how people show love, sweetie. You'll understand when you're older." That moment used to make her groan. But now, right now, it made sense. That very same warmth, that awkward flutter in the chest, Gia felt it now. The world fell silent as their faces neared. But just before their lips could meet, Jin pulled back with a strange smile and held up a loose thread. "This thread was dangling from your top for a while," he said. "It was driving me nuts." Gia stared at him, stunned and speechless. As Jin turned to walk away, her chest rose and fell, her lips parted to speak, but no words came. She took one sharp step forward. Then, without thinking, without giving herself time to think, she grabbed him by the tie. The silk tightened slightly in her fist as she pulled him down to her level, their faces inches apart. She tugged the tie just a little closer, and with that, she kissed him. This time not shyly, not gently. It was bold, direct, full of emotion. No more hesitation. Jin stood completely still, like a statue. A gust of wind blew through the street, knocking Jin's head away, but he didn't even flinch. The kiss slowed. Gia slowly pulled away, her heart racing. They looked around. People were staring. They both coughed awkwardly, pretending nothing had happened.